xplainhelp.co.uk. Hi and welcome to another xplainhelp.co.uk video. In this video we are going to do a basic cold and dark start on the Toliss A319 Airbus. This particular one I've chosen the EasyJet livery. So at the moment we are at stand 1 at Bristol Airport, as you can see. Incidentally, the Bristol Airport scenery is the newly released scenery from Pilot Plus. But anyway, that's not what it's about. So, let's go inside our cockpit. Okay, so first of all, before we go any further with this video, just to remind you, this video does not cover the setup of the FMC. That will be featured in another video on xplainhelp.co.uk on the Toliss A319 support site. Okay, so let's get going. First of all, let's make sure that the parking brake is set, and it is. Next, we'll make sure that the thrust levers are in the off position, and they are. Next, the speed brake. Let's go around and have a look at the speed brake, and that is in the fully retracted position. Next, the flaps are fully retracted as well. Over to the landing gear down here, and we can see that the landing gear is fully down and locked. And up here the autopilot is turned off and the auto throttle is turned off. Brilliant stuff. So that's confirmed that everything in the cockpit is ready for us to turn the power on and get the engines running. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to go to the overhead column, and we're going to double check that we have got power to the aircraft. And there we are, we have external power to the aircraft. You don't need to touch that, incidentally. That tells us that we've got external power. Now what we are going to do before we start doing anything is we are going to align our IRS system up here. These three dials up here are your IRS dials. We need to turn those three dials to nav, simply just by rotating them. They go to align now, and the reason why I'm doing that right now is because it takes up to 7 minutes for those dials to actually align. And if you look on here, you can actually see, just in there faintly, you can see IRS in alignment -7 minutes. Okay, so while that's aligning, let's go over here and we will turn these dials here to get all the displays up together. All this does is just simply brightens up the displays. That's that one there, and that's that one there. And now what we'll do is we'll go over to the first officer and we'll replicate it on the first officer side. Now obviously it's daytime in here, so what we'd normally do at night is you would also put your console floor brightness up as well. So let's go back over here, and we will turn on the FMC. We're not actually going to use it as such, but we'll turn it on. Go and do the first officer FMC. There we go, that's done. Go to the ECAM, turn that one up, and the lower DU, which is this display here. See that? There you go. And now go down to radio, the radio stack on the left hand side, and then the radio stack on the right hand side. And then there's also one more radio stack, which is up here as well. Okay then, so that's all of the lighting more or less on. Just check down here, make sure that we've got all the lighting on. Another lighting area is this one here. Okay, good. Right, and also up here as well. Where is it? We've got the dome and antenna light up there, I believe that is. And then we've got these lights down here, which are used obviously once the aircraft is about to move. Lovely. Right, so we're happy we've got all that done, and as I said, we've already set the navigation, the IRS into alignment. Oh dear, sorry. Little flip around there. Okay, that's 6 minutes, so it takes a little while for that to happen. So, what else can we do? That's basically the main area really. It's just getting the IRS to align. So on the FMC, what we're going to do in a minute, actually we might as well do that now. There we go. So on the FMC we're going to press INIT, and I'm a bit of a Bristol Airport fan, I live quite nearby there, so I am going to set up the FMC. Now all this does is this initialization page, this puts your aircraft on the map basically. It'll appear on here. It actually says heading map not available at the moment. Oh, well, that's the reason why that is because I didn't do that. There we are. So let's go back over to here. So this is your FMC. Now with the Toliss, they give you a few options with this, a few little enhanced features. If you tap on the FMC, it actually brings up the FMC in a pop-up window. This is a lot easier to use, maybe if you want to do that. I don't know. So what we'll do is we're going to go from to. Now your from is obviously your departure airport. Your to is your destination airport. Pretty self-explanatory. And you've got a / in the middle. So what we need to do for that one, press the C button down here on your scratch pad, and I'm going to type in EGGD / and I'll tell you what, we'll do EGFF. EGFF is of course Cardiff, which is just literally a couple of miles west of here. Now once you've typed in those ICAOs with the / in the middle, no spaces, click on from to. And what that'll do is that'll pop those that data into here. Okay. Now the next one you've got is your flight number. I don't know if you've got a favourite EasyJet flight number. I'll tell you what, Easy 449. That's a service I believe from Bristol to Belfast Aldergrove. So go down to here, type in 449, go to flight number and click on the button just to the left, and there you go, that's in there. Cost index, I'm not entirely sure what that's all about. I think it's something to do with the operative cost of the flight or something or other. I just usually slap a 20 in there or something. That's what I've read in other manuals, so that'll do, wouldn't it? Cruise level, cruise your flight level. So for that, I'm going to put in I don't know, 8,000 feet. Now this temperature box here, don't worry about filling that in. 8,000 feet, click on the button next to cruise, and there you go. Look, it will actually put a temp of 0 in there. Isn't that clever? So it already does it for you. So if you look down here, we've got the flight number, cost index, cruise flight level, and it's been put up there. Great. Align IRS, what we'll do is we'll click on Align IRS, and we'll leave that be. So if you look up here now, right, there is the airplane over there, and in a bit what will happen is when the IRS is fully aligned, you'll see the airport come up on there. So while that's doing all that sort of stuff, we'll just have a quick look around here, shall we? So the Airbus A319 is a very automated aircraft. It's not like a Boeing 737. Boeing tends to have quite a lot more to do, whereas the Airbus is quite an automated aircraft. So this display here and the display just above it, there we are, these displays are mainly controlled from this options panel here. So for example, if I click on APU, it brings up the APU monitoring page there. If I bring up engine, does the same thing. Doors, all that stuff, you get the idea. So there we are. That explains that. So the IRS is going to be aligning very, very shortly. So what we'll do, let's get a bit of power to the aircraft, shall we? So what we'll do, let's set the strobe lights to, oh there we are, look, the IRS is just aligned. You can tell the IRS is aligned because you've now got EGGD there, EGFF and GPS primary. That tells you your IRS is aligned, really. So what we're going to do is we're now going to go up to the overhead panel, and we're going to get this aircraft started. So let's go to the I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's actually, yeah, let's start the strobe, and that'll tell them all that we're about to start something, won't it? So strobe lights there, look. Click on the master switch on the APU, which is this one here. And when you've done that, click on the start switch below that, which is this one here. And now the way you can tell if the APU is running or not is if you click on APU down here, and there you look, there's your APU. APU is climbing. It's on the way. Wait for it to reach full speed. Looking good. Okay, now we've started the APU. Let's put the seatbelt signs on. Set the smoking signs to auto. And emergency exit to arm. Okay, now at this point you'd be programming the FMC, but as I said in this tutorial, this is simply to start the engines of this aircraft, so we're not going to do that. However, there is a video on this page that does take you through the basics of how to set the FMC up. It doesn't tell you everything, it just shows you how to get the map looking good on your screen and how to actually fly the FMC plan, as it were. So let's crack on with the go to the pack flow, this one here, and we'll turn that to normal. Then what we're going to do is we're then going to go to the external power button, and we're going to disconnect that. So your external power button is this one here. Okay. And then what we're going to do is go down here, and we should have all the systems running. Yay! There we go. How about that? So now what we're going to do is we're going to go to our beacon, which is this one over here. Turn that one on. Okay. And now what we're going to do is, well, I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll turn our, now if you were flying at night, you would be turning your lights on here. We'll turn the wing lights on as well, actually, just because we can. Runway turn off lights here. Landing gear lights there, I believe, and the nose for taxi. So we're going to turn the nose to taxi. Great stuff. Right, so in that case it is now time to push back, and this is rather cool, the pushback, because there's two ways of pushing back on this aircraft. I don't know if you know this. So what we'll do first of all, let's turn the parking brake off. So the parking brake is now turned off, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go outside the aircraft. Okay, here we are outside the aircraft. Now there's we all know there's a lot of different pushback plugins that are used. We've got better pushback. There's the X-Plane 11 default pushback as well, and I think there's a few others out there as well. But Toliss include a pushback with this particular aircraft, and the way you get to that is by opening the Toliss Interactive Simulation Control System. If you then click on Ground Settings, you can then opt to do either a auto pushback or a manual pushback. Now if you do a auto pushback, you need to set the distance to whichever way you want it to go, and you need to set the tail direction as well. Once you've done that, the aircraft will start pushing back. Or you can do a rather cool manual pushback, which you actually push the aircraft back yourself, and we'll do that in a moment. Just one thing I did notice was that I think one of the doors was yeah, there we are. Close the doors a minute, because we don't want people flying out, do we? Okay, that's all the doors closed. So what we'll do is let's do a manual pushback. And there we go. So in a second what's going to happen is you're going to see a little truck appear here. Here he is. Here's our little truck. Now the way that this works is you don't actually I suppose you could go inside the truck if you wanted to. There we are. What you do is you use your joystick or your yoke to control the truck. So if I push forward, i.e. pitch the nose down on my joystick, the aircraft will actually start to push back. There you go, look. Just do it nice and gently. To brake, you simply take the pressure off of the joystick. So forward starts taking the aircraft backwards, and to brake, you simply pull the joystick back. So here we are, let's go forward. Now to turn, what you need to do, if you turn the joystick to the right, so if you move the joystick to the right, the truck will go to the right and it will push the aircraft towards the right. Now it takes a bit of practice, this does. There we go, look. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Okay, slow it down a bit. And there we are. Great. So let's go back inside the aircraft, set the parking brake, and that's done. And that was a manual pushback using the tow truck and controlling it yourself. Very cool. Right, so we've now done that bit. So now what we're going to do is we're now going to start the engine. So what you need to do first of all is, if you go down to your engine levers down here and turn the dial to start, and then go up to your APU bleed up here. There it is. This one here, your APU bleed. Turn that on. And now what we'll do is we'll now go down to engine 2, this one here, and the way you start it is you just put the mouse over it and then you flick the lever forward, and if you look up here, there we are, the engine is now starting to spoil up. Incidentally, if you click on these displays, pops the display out, and there you go, you can move the display. So there we are, look. There's your engines heating up. You can hear it just in the background as well. There we are, terrific. So now what we'll do is we'll now go into the other one. Same again. Engine 2 is now starting. And also what you can do as well is, if you click on the engine button on the eCam, you can actually see it all happening there as well. Funky, isn't it? So there, the engine start is now displaying. Is now starting there. Look. Let them stabilise. Brilliant. Lovely job. Okay, so now the engines have started. Go back down to your engine levers and turn the dial back to normal. Then go up to your auto brake, which is over here. Set that to max. Okay, that's all good. Just double check one more time that everything on here is all good. So air brakes are set to closed, and we're going to set the flaps. Now obviously what you would do is if you were programming the FMC, it would give you your flap setting. We're going to just go to our flight control screen, click that, it gives you that, and on that you can just check all your controls are running. There we go. Speed brake, yeah, beautiful, lovely job. And we'll just check the rudders as well actually. Great stuff. Okay, that's pretty good. So obviously what you'd be doing now is just been checking your lights up here and make sure your lights are okay. That's all good. That's all good, beautiful. So with that in mind, we've done all those bits. You can now turn the parking brake off, and we'll get her up in the air. One thing you would do as well before you should obviously do a final check, make sure your autopilot wasn't turned on, and neither your auto throttle as well. All your details will be programmed into it, but the actual equipment wouldn't necessarily be on. So have a quick look outside, see how she's looking. Brilliant. Delton. I think it's going to be a rolling start as well. Might as well. V1, rotate, gear up, nose up rather, positive rate of climb, gear up, and there we are, cold and dark start, and we're airborne. Well, hope you've enjoyed watching this video of doing a basic cold and dark start on the Toliss A319. Have a good day.